And ladies and gentlemen, this is day number 4, the last day, and perhaps for some of these teams, the last chance for them to qualify all the way into Nagoya. This is Jace and this is Churros. We will be your casters for the last day of 2026 Asian Games Esports Events MLBB qualifiers.
Yeah, Jace, it's great to be here once again.
That's right.
We had a pretty long day yesterday. Not really a 2-0 sweep all the way. So that really proves and shows. Well,
I had to do it.
It's because of us.
No,
right now, when we're together, it's always
us.
a full-day series. But hey, in all honesty, yesterday was really close matchup for a lot of the teams that we're watching. First game of today will be extremely high stakes, especially, like you said, last chance.
Yep, I think like today is really where some of the groups has already you kind of see some of the teams have already set in stone. I think Group A is the one that still has a lot of potential for potential shakeups and upsets, especially, you know, Cambodia's performance as well, the Malaysia, the Zorn effect, or, well, for this context, the Hisham effect, that we need to also take note of for Team Malaysia. And of course, you know, there's a lot of things that could potentially go on, especially right here as we go into, for this particular two groups, the LCQ.
Yeah, and it's quite interesting, especially for, you know, the first game of today, because we've always seen the specific regions in each different groups. In Group A, you have Southeast Asia. Group B, you have West Asia. Group C, Central Asia, we're watching later on. Group D is going to be East and South Asia. So bring us through the schedule, Jace.
Yeah, of course, today we'll start off the last chance qualifier, especially for Iran and Nepal, both of them coming from their own respective groups. So technically speaking, if you want to talk about, you know, inter-group, inter-region, well, not say like your, you know, inter-team, right? We're talking about region, different big regions, right, coming together. This is Iran going up against Nepal. But of course, we also start to see at the very least some other new groups coming in. We are also starting to see Group C, finally some form of new flavor, new metas that we'll be witnessing. Kazakhstan going up against Kyrgyzstan. Then after that, Kazakhstan going up against Uzbekistan.
Yeah, not only that, we still have a culmination of Group A that's coming up in the second half of the day. We'll start off with Malaysia versus Cambodia. This is a match that you don't want to miss. Cambodia, big upsets, or almost big upsets, to Philippines, which is one of the top seeds. And Malaysia is going to be a huge test for them this time around. Indonesia against Myanmar will come up right after as well.
Yep, very well said. Like match 4 onwards, our schedule is mostly most of them Group A's, right? Well, all of them Group A's. Of course, after that particular match that you mentioned earlier, Churros, it will be Team Philippines going up against Team Singapore, and then finally we'll end off the day at match 7 with Team Indonesia and Team Cambodia.
Man, this is looking up and shaking up to be a really interesting day. We're starting off with different flavors and integrating these flavors together. We've seen teams from Central Asia, we've seen teams from East and South Asia, just putting the interesting heroes into the meta, especially like Hong Kong, China, and things like that. So Group A, we have Philippines on the top of the board. They are pretty safe, Jace. 5-1. Even if they lose the next match that they're going up against Singapore, they are still pretty safe. They're heading their way into Nagoya in the main stage as well. Cambodia in the second seed, Indonesia, Malaysia, and Myanmar. Looking at scorelines, they are pretty tied.
Yeah, don't forget, only top 5 of these teams will only qualify to Nagoya, right? So you're talking about the top 2 packs, you're pretty safe, they're pretty stable. It's the middle of the pack. I would say it's the Indonesia, Team Indonesia onwards, that's where it gets really unsafe for them, because there are several games that we'll be able to see on main stage, and some of the key games, I would say, one of the key games that are very critical for this particular group that could potentially shake up the whole group standing. Actually, it's happening in substage, which is Team Vietnam going up against Team Myanmar. Yeah,
2-2, 2-3. If Vietnam wins this one, then it would shake it up, and Vietnam would proceed to the main stage. Myanmar will be shifted down. So we'll see how that plays out in Group A. Unfortunately, though, Laos and Singapore, I would say the chances are pretty slim.
Chances are pretty slim.
Moving on to Group B, though, this is West Asia that we're talking about. Saudi Arabia at the top of the charts with Jordan. They are really already going into the main stage in Nagoya.
It's kind of confirmed already.
Yeah. Oman and the Emirates are, well, not going to be proceeding any further. But Iran still has one last chance that we're going to be looking at.
Yep, Iran will be going up against Nepal, which is from Group D. So far, I'm really satisfied from the performance from the side of Kingdom Saudi Arabia. I don't really recall watching a Jordan game as of yet, but hey, you know, your second seed, there must be a reason, right? As we take a look, Group C, this is the one that I feel like, if you noticed, it's mostly just Egypt. I think we only saw 2 matches being played for Group C thus far. So that's why today you start to see a lot more Group Cs from the get-go. And of course, you know, you got Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan is the one that's leading the charge in the first 2 seed. Kyrgyzstan and Tajikistan at the bottom 2 seed. Only top 2 from this current group will go into Nagoya.
You know, Group C is one of those smaller groups and smaller emerging regions that are into MLBB thus far. So it will be interesting to see in the second and third match of today that will be streaming live right here and how they really perform. But not to forget, Group D, this is East and South Asia. Mongolia topping the charts with 4 wins, 0 losses. Hong Kong, China will be in the second seed. They are both pretty safe moving on to Nagoya, Japan. They are confirmed, and they're not playing any other games thus far. For Nepal, though, one last chance to prove themselves. And I would say up against Hong Kong, China yesterday, they have had a really good showing. I would think like, hey, they were pretty evenly matched in terms of their gameplay, their execution, maybe a little bit of draft difference. Hong Kong, China was one up of Nepal, playing things that they're familiar with, things that they are more signature with, and Nepal is trying to match up to the speed that Hong Kong, China was bringing to the table. Unfortunately, though, we won't be seeing Pakistan and Sri Lanka anymore. But hey, you know, this is one of the first few chances that they have in an international stage, so they have the experience and hoping to see them again in the next international tournament.
I would like to quote Mirko, right? Every time when there is a loss, there is a learning experience, right? That's why there's no losers in a competition. It's mostly learning that you can learn from. Maybe there's something that you better you can get the experience from. And sometimes, unfortunately, yes, being victor, you win, you get that temporary dopamine boost. But I feel like you learn more when you take some losses.
Yeah, speaking of that, there will be a loser and there will be a winner in this one. We'll start off with Iran versus Nepal, and Iran's lineup looking really good. We saw them yesterday. Amirali, Ali, Poria, Mahdi, and Abu Fazl. They have shown quite a bit of strategic advances. Their execution was a little bit shaky, especially in the start of the game, but moving on, they have found their groove, and right now, the stakes are high. No room for errors, no room for mistakes.
Yeah, I think this is a time where they really have to put their best foot forward. And apart from that, Team Iran, when we have seen this stack has been playing so far, I feel like they're really following something like a tank utility jungle meta, that sort of thing, right? They like the Akai, they prioritize those neutral objective takes. But on the other side, Team Nepal represented Abhishek this time, Nobine, Ankit, Lilim, Mitoya, and Kishore. This stack wants to win by sheer dominance in team fights. You draft the assassin for Mitoya, and then after that you assassinate key damage dealers, and then after that they scale and take objectives.
Yeah, I just want to point out the mid lane trio that has been working very, very well for Nepal, especially up against the top dogs in their seed and their group against Hong Kong, China, as well as as well as the top seed as well. This is one of the teams that really plays to their strengths, really plays to them towards their meta, and really understands and learns as they go along as well.
Yeah, I think while we usually put, you know, the Southeast Asian teams as more like a gold standard, like, you know, like Team Philippines, Team Liquid, aka to a certain extent Team Indonesia as well, you know, they have been shifting their metas and dropping the Suyos and dropping the assassins in the favor of tank utility jungles. You saw Team Philippines yesterday against Team Indonesia, right? What's on the ban? There's the Fredrin, the Baxias, the Guinevere. These are your tank utility jungles, literally denied away by Team Philippines.
We also see the emergence of utility mid lanes. Jusin, the Yeeves are coming back online. Farsas might be pretty dominant in this meta as well. The Gourds are highly favored by a lot of mid-lane players. Lilim, for example, in Nepal, he has 17 kills, 0 deaths in one of the games that they had at a constant push and pull, a constant comeback. They weren't able to shut that Juicin down, and it provides so much utility. Built one Sky Piercer, and it's done. But hey, you know, the biggest challenge for these two teams today is the mix of flavors. How do you counter the picks in the drafts from someone from another region, someone that you've never met?
I think I like this particular matchup, even though, yeah, it's unfortunate this is going to be a last chance qualifier, only one of these teams that will go to Nagoya. But it feels like a test once again, because we're in this awkward position in the meta where there's tank junglers and then there's also the assassin junglers. Definitely, we can say that Team Nepal favors assassin junglers, whereas Team Iran, they still favor their utility junglers.
Yeah, and speaking of the junglers, I would say Metoya has a little bit of a adaptation adjustments. He likes to bring out the Guinevere's, if I recall correctly, and that is definitely going to be highly contested. A lot of the Southeast Asian regions are also looking into Guinevere as one of the top tier junglers in this current meta and in this current patch as well. And not to forget, quite a bit of teams are still trying to bring out the assassins, but we'll see as we jump into the draft for the first game, the first series of today. This is the last chance qualifiers for Iran and Nepal, and it's going to be a cross-region series.
Yeah, and I feel like Expanding Rivers is fitting of that kind of theme, right? Like how, you know, we need to feel like how Nepal is going to navigate, and usually movement speed around the rivers benefits the assassins a lot more, right? Because like you could just travel from one point to another and then start assassinating your DPSs down in the gold lane, and then after that move on. You're basically all over across the map. But this is where also some utility roams or utility junglers are kind of favored because of the Methuda's movement speed and the Baxia. Unfortunately, from this game number 1, Baxia banned away by Iran. The Juicin, a respect over to Lilim. I love it when, you know, teams starts to do some research. Nepal takes away the Marcel, the Fredrin, and the Ophiophius.
No, this is interesting, and like what you said, a lot of the jungles are right now coming into utility. The Akai definitely top priority, but not to forget the gold lane. Claude wins games, and a lot of teams are siphoning their energy into taking up that Claude, taking up, you know, hey, you know, Freya, Paquitos. We totally forget about the fighters in this meta that, you know, Nepal has kind of brought out yesterday as well. We saw the double fighters coming in from them, which they excelled in so well in the first game against Hong Kong, China.
There you go, the Akai by Mahdi as well. And I feel like personally, B1 pick, I feel, yes, the Freya's very strong in this particular patch, but there's an Akai. If you are a Freya, you are afraid of constantly getting CC chain, CC lockdown. Akai's heavy spin constantly pushes you back. You're not able to cast your skills, and that's where, you know, the Freya pseudo tankiness goes down because she's unable to sustain. Now, Nepal, good reaction. You know, you got the Hylos to basically counteract against the Gord. That is definitely going to come out because you see Akai, you definitely see a Gord. Then after that, the Valentina to kind of match against the Akai as well. So far, I like what Nepal has drafted so far. Iran, on the other hand, I think these are your 3 solid picks, right? The Akai and the Paquito and even the Gord.
Yeah, pretty on the meta this time around. Quite a bit of early game damage, especially once Paquito hits that power spike. If we're looking at early game lane-to-lane matchups, I would say Valentina wins out that Gord hands down, at least until that level 4 mark, before the ultimate actually comes in. The Bellman is actually seeing a lot of resurgence recently because it was used you know, many seasons ago in Southeast Asia as one of the ultimate
jungles, technically speaking.
Ultimate security objectives with the retribution, and there's no pretty much zero room for error for if you're playing that Balmon, and you have a lot of heal sustain coming along as well with it, and we've been seeing that quite a bit in the games as well.
Yeah, and the fact is the Bauman has a little bit tweaked. Now he doesn't rely on necessary kills to basically gain the HP. Assists also helps him gain that assist, so it kind of enforces him to be not very greedy anymore. You can actually use him more of a utility to secure neutral objectives and move on, and after that become a late game tank. Speaking about tank, here's the Guinevere that we know and love, taken away by Iran as well, as they have already secured their own tank utility jungle, so make sure that Akai has a great game.
You know, it is also highly possible that a Hylos still goes into the jungle. It still provides some form of utility. We've seen that many seasons ago. It would take a time machine and travel back maybe 3 years, 4 years ago. That used to be hot on the plate. But hey, Moskov is taken out. Claude is still on the table. If Iran wants to get a solid marksman, especially in the late game, since now they have a lot of early to mid game damage, they need some form of insurance in the late game. Claude might be the best pick right here.
I feel like Claude fits what Iran wants to go for because they've already got their early game in terms of Paquito. And God technically scales. You need something more of a scaling composition as well, unless they really want to dive deep into the Harif, something like that. But Harif is already countered by the high loss, so I don't think that's a very good idea. Ranger, technically speaking, means that, you know, Team Iran is really looking at, I want to empower in the early game, I want to bully the gold laner. And I feel like Team Iran is reading into this, right?
Yep.
The pop, great read actually coming off from Iran. You know, going for the Yuzhong and the Yushin as the last few picks. These are threats over to the Gord, but Akai is a threat to Yushin, whereas Freya, on the other hand, may potentially face a bit of problem against the Granger during the laning phase.
No, this is smart coming out from Nepal.
Yeah.
They understand that they need a gap closer. They go for the Yuzhong. They thought that the Freya was going into the EXP lane. If Freya were to go in the EXP lane in the pre-level 4, mark, Freya definitely wins out, but post level 4 mark, Freya is definitely going to suffer a little bit. Put her in the gold lane and you know, run a double fighter composition. Mitoya has played the Eastern Shin yesterday too.
And not only just that, right? And we talk about how the Cho is also very annoying to deal with.
Oh, yeah.
Against, especially in the hands of Hisham, that really provides so much vision and so much annoyance, especially now. Team Nepal has decided to go for a Yushin, who is also vulnerable in the early game. Cho is there to basically kind of act as a disruptor. So high loss, I feel like there's a lot more work cut out for this high loss coming up from Nepal.
Yeah, I have to 100% agree. Hylos is not as mobile as a lot of the other roams that we're seeing in this current meta, in this current patch as well. Valentina should have no problem at all. Typically, you want to run a Cho to close the gap and try to disrupt the mid lane that we see yesterday in a lot of the games from the core Southeast Asian teams as well. And I think what's beautiful about this is the other regions are learning from the regions that we know and love.
5 seconds.
Yep, good to go into game, ladies and gents. Game number 1 between Iran and Team Nepal as well. This is the last chance qualifier. Only one team were making it into Nagoya.
Well, this is quite interesting coming in from Matoya, because typically you want to run, you want to start with the beetle first before, and then before anything starts, and then take a circle around your own side of the jungle. But starting off with the bear means that you get easy access into Lethal Wonder, which in turn gain you control early on that mid lane rotation, as well as you have your strong mid lane duos.
Well, you can see the clear coming on Mitoya, right? The Yushin has one of the faster clear as compared to Mahdi on this Akai. So technically speaking, because of that, Team Nepal definitely has great solid control around the river. Every single creep counts, especially for Mitoya on this Yushin.
Great rotation from Freya as well. Abhishek was down at the bottom side, cleared up that lane, joined in all these team fights, trying to deny the access into their own jungle. They're protecting their home, they're protecting their birthright.
Yep. Right now, I think top side. Paquito going up against Yuzhong. This is also one of the matchups that we used to see back in the good old days. Hold on.
Yep, the Ali tries to start. I don't think they want to commit to this one. Just a little bit of a shake and bake.
Revitalize already popped very early on. That is going to be costly for the side Team Nepal, but at the very least was able to kind of save him. And Iran, you know, I'm more than happy to basically take that away. But I'm actually kind of concerned about Abu Fazl, especially on the top side, because Yuzhong is not the kind of hero that you really want to constantly punch, and then after that fight face to face, you want to hit and run. But Abu Fazl is taking a lot of L's right here. Mahdi.
Mahdi tries to go in for the charge. Anki goes down. Porya will pick up that kill. Ali down low. Will be able to shake his way out of there. Porya, a little bit of a skerfuffle. Lilin doesn't have that dash. Will be pinned to the wall. Porya will not be able to disengage. Mahdi still fighting a little bit, gets out of there safe.
Yeah, but still, hold on a second. Abhishek just decided to go and dive. That's going to be the Valkyrie dive as well. And now it's going to be Ali trying to slow down Abhishek right here. Porya.
Trapped in the middle. Will be able to escape for now. Buying so much time for that turtle. Abu Fazl went down to the turtle pit too.
This is just a massive brawl happening above these two teams looking for blood as well. It's really too early for the side of Team Nepal to really fight, especially with Matoya. But if they have Abhishek in tow, I think why not? And they're really looking for blood and hoping that the killing spree helps him with the bonus movement speed and also the bonus damage. Bonus bonus healing as well.
Yeah, Kishore did a very good job pushing Abu Fazl away. If Paquito went into the team fights a little bit earlier, that would have turned out so much worse for Nepal.
Now, earlier just now, we take a look at this whole replay right there. I think, you know, the fact that Lilim knows that he's taking over to level 4 very, very soon. Don't forget, he is also able to heal up and also gain a bonus EXP as long as Lilim hits his targets, right? But the problem is, from the side of Madi and also Poria, they don't really have a lot of damage, and Poria's damage kind of comes in big, massive bursts, especially after Mystic Gush is already committed.
For now, both teams are still pretty even Stevens. Nepal has a little bit faster clears as well. Matoya at level 7, Madi 2 levels behind. And we're going to see a lot of scaling capabilities coming in from this Yusun Shin. So Amirali really needs to pick up the pace. But it's so hard because he's dealing up with a Freya.
But the problem, but I also feel like, you know, for the side team, Nepal, Mitoya, even though, yes, he can scale as an Yishin Shin, I think the main target that he could basically try to find is Amirali, and after that, perhaps Ali, right? And also Poria. But because Madi is an Akai, the whole point of the Akai is to basically secure Lord Fight and objectives. Once Mitoya gets pinned down by Madi, it's over for Mitoya. Whereas if Madi gets stunned up, he's a tank. He's meant to absorb all of this punishment.
Abhishek might be punished for now. A little bit too close for comfort. Amirali does have that one. It's a shake and bake down into the turret. Abhishek really wants to go for it.
Wow.
One more hit. And Amirali outplays it. On the other side of the map, Matoya goes down. Abu Fazl picks up that kill. He was on the wrong position right there. Iran used to have to spin to disengage, but they're going straight back in. Ali, a little bit of a shake and bake. Here comes the laser, the Mystic Gush. They're going to close that gap. They're going gun for that gourd, and they will take them down. Kishore picks up the kill on the gourd, the turtle down low. No jungle, no problem. Madi doesn't have the retribution. He picks up that turtle though, and Iran secures that objective.
Yeah, but it feels like, you know, the lucky part is Mitoya is not there. That's why, you know, Team Iran was able to secure the turtle for himself. A bit of a gunning down coming up from the side. Amirali earlier just now, that was, I think, Abhishek overextending, overheating. Once again, trusting, hoping the talent to keep him safe, but to no avail.
Oh, Abhishek, Valkyrie descent. It's straight onto Amirali underneath the turret. Ali next to fall. Abhishek will pick that one up. The aggression coming from Nepal will not stop with Poria. Send 6 feet under by Mitoya.
I feel like Team Iran is not actually anticipating the amount of aggression coming out from Team Nepal, right? Yes, Team Nepal is on the scaling comp. They do have a side lane fighter. I think they should have expected it. And not only just that, Team Nepal cracks open down bot. It means that Amirali was going to have to find farm elsewhere. But you start to see that, you know, Team Iran, I feel like they are not anticipating the aggression coming out from the side of Team Nepal. You can see Lilim activating the heavy spin earlier, forcing the Madis heavy spin out earlier just now in that turtle fight. Yeah. But luckily, Mitoya's not there, so that's why turtle goes over to the side of Iran. And now I feel like Team Iran, if they really want to really try to ramp up, they need to start securing more objectives, right? The third turtle must go into Team Iran. If not, Team Nepal will take it, run it, scale using the Yushin Shin.
I like what you said just now, right? But hold on, the heavy spin will pin Kishore to the wall. That's Abu Fazl, one punch and a jab, and he goes down.
Yeah, I need more early game aggression coming off from Team Iran. But the funny thing is, Team Nepal with the scaling comp, with the somewhat mid to late game composition, is the one that's more aggressive as compared to Team Iran.
You know, this is interesting because without the dragon, you don't really have that gap closer. Remember, in that previous turtle fight, we saw how once Kishore saw Poria use that laser, that's the dragon, lands on top of him, this gets that petrified and takes court out of the game. So it's essentially just waiting for the bait to come in and then turning into that dragon to chase him down.
I think it's also, you know, Team Iran poured all their resources to no avail, right? The turtle's still up, but hold on, this was very important for Iran.
Abu Fazl is still finding an angle. The dragon's already popped up. Mahdi is just right there. Matoya will pick up that turtle from underneath their noses, and it's Abu Fazl a little bit too deep. Poria down low. Kishore will not complete that chase. Ali gets in for that re-engage. Will not be able to shake and bake out. That's the jump and the flicker. Abhishek all the way from deep in the jungle.
Man, Abhishek is really looking for blood right here. And of course, Freya, technically speaking, do scale quite hard as well as compared to the Grandeur. The problem about Grandeur is that once you land out the Rhapsody, there's only one lane, right? But the problem is Abhishek can dash and dodge, bob and weave those bullets as well, making hard for Amirali to land down the damage. And also you can start to see Nepal starting to scale, right? Abhishek, all these gambles that he took in the early game to the mid game, yes, we saw that one sus turret dive, but it's more than worth it. And if you start to see, Abhishek and the fans sense that, everybody from the side of Team Nepal is just looking for blood. Endless battle secured by Mitoya. That's another massive burst that Team Iran has to look out for. And if you notice, Mitoya is not supposed to be able to take that turtle earlier just now, right? Mahdi is the one with the heavy spin. We got heavy spin. Oh,
that's the jab. That's the push out, though. Nice down first December. Abhishek, this is the re-engage and the red carpet laid down by Ankit. They will chase them back as the rest of the Goon Squad from Iran comes in, trying to defend against this turret. This T1 is critical for them. If not, they'll open up that map for Nepal's taken.
A bit awkward of a glorious pathway coming from Ankit. I know what he's trying to do, trying to cut down the pathway, maybe angle it slightly, I would say 20 degrees towards the clockwise. That would be a better choice to kind of slow it down. But at the very least, that fear factor that Team Nepal was able to inflict onto Team Iran allows them to take topside turret.
This is also smart coming in from Lilim. He knows that Mahdi is always showing himself. He takes the heavy spin instead of the Mystic Gush. And this creates a lot of opportunities. Yeah, it's a low-hanging fruit.
Yeah, Mahdi will definitely show himself up. He's there to basically open up the waves, allowing Lilim to take it. The reason why Valentina came back into meta is because of the Akai, and the Beyblade fight is the one that you kind of neutralize what Akai is doing. But there's also another problem, right? Like Lilim on this Valentina, technically still considered squishy. Yes, you've got that heavy spin from Mahdi, but I feel like, Team Iran can basically, walk around that Lilim's heavy spin as well. That Dragon Form committed.
Mountain Chakra already used up as well. He's pushing him back, Mahdi! He takes the first turtle. Ali down too deep. He split up that team fight. Abhishek not happy about that. We'll go for that chase. Abafazo all left all alone. That's the heal. That's the dragon shot residue. The Mystic Gush will push them back. It's a 1 kill for that turtle. So worth it.
Great engage coming on Team Iran, right? Ali knows his duty, even though he has to sacrifice himself to basically knock out Mitoya so that Mitoya doesn't land our retribution, allowing Mahdi to secure the Lord. And what's the best thing? You get 1 kill out of it. That means that, Team Iran will take advantage of this Lord to slow down Team Nepal scaling. And don't forget, Team Iran is the early game, mid-game power spike, right? You probably need another 2 or 3 more minutes, and that's where you start to see a lot of damage coming off of Amirali as long as he lands it down properly.
Speaking of Amirali, he's in a spot of bother right there, chased out by 4 members, but a heavy spin will push them all the way, buying them some time to zone themselves out. Iran will be safe for now. They took down the T1 up top.
Yep, good defense coming out by Team Nepal, but every time, when you see team fight, even though when the Lord is actually, threatening on the top side turret, this is when everybody's like, hey, can somebody deal with the Lord, please, coming off of Team Nepal? Maybe overcommitting like 4 members to try to chase down Iran earlier just now was a little bit overkill. Maybe send like, I don't know, maybe Mitoya or Abhishek right there to basically deal with the Lord and then join the fight, because unfortunately, your teammates can revive, the turrets doesn't.
Yeah, and this is smart from Iran, just going straight forward, taking down the turrets, all the way from the top side, rotating down to the bottom side, just giving all the farm to Amirali. What I like is, what I want to pick your brains off is Nepal does have that Yuzhong, that split fight that we always see in many of these team fights. Yuzhong has so much more better sustain than what Iran can bring with the Paquito or even the Cho. So how does that play out for Iran?
I think how Kishore is going to play up against Abu Fazl is that as long as Kishore constantly outputs the damage, lands down a shard residue, land it across like multiple members, yeah, Abu Fazl all of a sudden is just getting neutralized, right? Abu Fazl relies on hard-hitting, flanking, finding Mitoya,
basically
punching
an assassin-ish fighter.
Assassin-ish fighter, correct. And the fact is, Abu Fazl can also fix waves as well. Kishore having the Black Dragon form as well allows him to basically do the same thing, right? Split push and then apply into the fight.
Mitoya just dashed right in, but able to get himself safe and sound. Ali, the kick was neutralized by the heavy spin. Lilim with a good call and a good trigger hit. Ali down low, will be down by now. That's the zone out from Kishore as well. Good play by Nepal.
It feels like Abhishek is looking for blood. Don't forget, he is the one that charged right into the turret. It was 1v2, 1v3. He doesn't really matter because he's gonna take all those gambles and hope to scale from that.
This is the late game for her as well. Every single hit it does, he heals everything back up.
Yep. So far, I like what I'm seeing coming out from the side of Team Nepal, but Abu Fazl right now, yeah, definitely gonna have do this. This is the only way for you to basically try to get into game. Unfortunately, neutral objectives and also turret objectives is the name of the game. Team Iran and also Team Nepal, if you notice, the plays out is slightly different.
It's a one-on-one down the bottom side. Abafazio taking a little bit of hits from Abhishek. He doesn't have the cooldowns coming in here. The combos will not be enough to save him as he gets sent 6 feet under once again. And Nepal are fighting a 5-on-4.
Paquito priority has long gone by this rate. You are probably, 10 minutes late for Abafazio to do any form of significant damage. I think it's a better choice for Abafazio to really pull Abhishek away, to try to pull this fight so that Team Nepal versus Team Iran is this what pin? It's a 4v4.
Won't let it rip. He's going to hold on to the heavy spin. Mahdi will get himself safe, but Ali will not. He got caught out.
Yep. Getting busted down now. It's a 3v5. Everybody from Team Nepal is on side as well. Even the Black Dragon going to kind of zone. Abhishek dashing in.
Oh, he's going to die set on Fori. He's seeing red, but on the backside, Mahdi will try to steal the Lord, but then Matoya takes it over. That is a risk that Mahdi has to pay with his life.
Mahdi doesn't really have a heavy spin as well. I'm not too sure why he decides to path, and he just got blown out to pieces. At this point, Matoya is level 15 already. Endless battle. You just get busted down. Mahdi is only 1/4 HP. So take a look at this particular instant replay. What I was talking about is I really wish that Abafazio try to drag Abhishek away even longer to buy time so that, Team Iran will fight a 4v4 against Nepal at the top side.
Yeah, you don't necessarily have to win, but hold on a second. There's the kick down into the wall, sealed up by Amirali. That's the stack being built up right here. The Gush will take Ankit's health low. Amirali tries to seal up that job. That's another stack for him. Might be going in for a 3. Doesn't really have support. Abafazio down on the flanks.
I mean, that's a good. Any kills given over side Amirali with the Sky Pistol stack is absolutely great find, right? And the fact is, if you see how punishing when the Freya gets CC stunned on Ali with a knock-up, and then after that you just receive so much damage from the side of Poria and Amirali and Granger and the Gore respectively. Yeah, you're just basically going to get it, and you can see how Poria is starting to build the damage, especially to deal with tanky heroes. The Glory Ones going in, even the Feather Heavens, and also the Divine Glaive as well. I'm not surprised if the next item should be going into a Wishing Lantern, because you're going to have to try to laser down Ankit. But Poria, using the Mystic Gush to be able to only deal with Ankit, I think it may not be enough. Amirali still needs a lot more stacks in order for anything to happen.
Oh, that's the push. The limbs, heavy spin will not be enough to win onto Mahdi on the backside, though Abafazio finds Kishore, but Abhishek's just nearby, able to push them out.
Yeah, and that's what I was talking about, right? Yes, while Valentina was able to steal the heavy spin from the side of Akai, Valentina is still Valentina, doesn't inherit the HP from the side of Mahdi. Mahdi, on the other hand, is the one that can do this.
Oh, great find onto Ankit. He will find himself in a bit of a trouble there. Lays down red carpet, use everything back up. This Revitalize already used up as well. Abhishek tries to go on to Amirali. That is the kill from Abhishek. He's taken 2. Ali falls as well. Abhishek, this Freya is a madman.
Yeah, Abhishek is just literally going all in every time when he sees Amirali or even Poria. All he has to do is just trade his life over to the side of Amirali. I think once that's done, you're training gold laner for gold laner. Especially if you're a fighter, hey, that is good enough, because you've got Mitoya as a pseudo marksman jungler. You still have that pushing power to go and push down the waves.
Abhishek will start things off. The bubble has bursted as Mountain Shocker to push them all away. A little bit of vision play. Nepal has full control of the Land of Dawn.
That Lord push earlier just now, still decent in terms of the amount of damage and also pushing power, right? But I feel like if you take a look at Team Nepal so far, with the fact is they are really aggressive, especially with Abhishek. I think lead him on this Valentina. I think on draft it makes sense, but you start to see Amirali once one full ramp, so they lit onto Lidim, especially when Lidim is getting pinned down with the Beyblade battle alongside with Mahdi. She just gets melted.
That's a smart bait coming up from Nepal as well. They're putting Matoya away because you're fighting against a utility jungler. And speaking of utility jungler, Mahdi is down low. They found Amirali! That's the Granger taken out!
And not only just that, Mahdi is actually losing his life right there.
The heavy spin comes through. Mahdi will not be enough. A glorious laser seals the deal. They take down the Lord and they bought themselves some time.
Oh my goodness, that's such a very funny sequence. The fact is, Poria using the Mystic Gush to basically steal away the Lord. I was thinking that, hey, you know, Madi's in a spot of trouble. The Lord should be going over to the side of Team Nepal, but no, Mystic Gush can also do a lot of damage.
Alphazo just took down that top side as well. Iran just playing mind games. They're playing the macro game. Nepal can't seem to find their strike. They're putting Kishore up on that top side. They have no one to deal with Poria right now.
And the fact is, don't forget, Team Iran, right? While the Lord dance was happening, Abafazo was just split pushing hard on the other side and potentially putting a bit of a pistol on the heads of Team Nepal. He doesn't need to pull that trigger. Team Nepal definitely feel the pressure from Abafazo on this Paquito.
Oh, I'm feeling the pressure too. Like, if you send your dragon, then who's going to deal with that Gord?
Yeah.
He took down that Lord.
Yeah.
He destroyed the entire team fight for Nepal. They had a very nice positioning. They started things off great. They're putting Mitoya away, just giving a little bit of a vision play onto the rest of the members of Iran. Fortunately, they found Granger, which was kind of unfortunate for Iran on the flip side. But
I can see why Nepal has no choice but to send Kishore all the way to the other side to deal with this Paquito, right? Yes, that means that they sacrifice the teamfight capabilities against Poria because they don't have access to the Black Dragon farm. Abhishek, technically speaking, with Valkyrie Dive can do certain parts of it, but, you know, Abhishek outputs more damage as compared to Kishore at this point of time. So that's why, you know, they have to send Abhishek towards these team fights because you cannot trust, you really cannot, even though Mitoya has scaled as an Yushin Shin is still technically an assassin glass cannon, but as Abafazo is just concentrating. I see one lane and one lane only. This feels like my Sun games when I play rank, right? I just look at one lane, I push the long lane, and that's all I'm doing.
Yeah, and speaking of like lane clearing as well, taking a look at itemizations, it looks like for Nepal, it's most of the members, or if not all the members, should have all the items by now. And it's going to be a super late game kind of territory we're in now. We'll see if Nepal wants to make these adjustments by sending Freya up on that top side to deal with what Abafazo is putting through on the long lane. As the Lord spawns up in the next 30 seconds, Iran seems a little bit more comfortable. They are sitting nicely at that Lord pit. Will Nepal be able to find Granger once again?
I'm not fond on how, even though I was just singing praises about Abafazo earlier just now, especially that one lane. Yeah, it's the opposite side of the lane right now. It's a 4-1 split. Team Nepal, on the other hand, I feel like they've already started to be a little bit paranoid onto Abafazo. But I've seen how other teams actually deal with split pushing Paquito, or if you remember last time, split pushing Moscow, split pushing Ling as well. Just send 4-member, deal with the one Abafazo. Abafazo couldn't do anything, and all of a sudden that whole team fight, especially Lord does, because of 5v4 you win.
Speaking of which, the Lord dance will ensue. Iran already has built a wall towards themselves. Nepal will be able to push them back just for a little bit. There's the flank. Matoya is right there on that purple buff. Poria is right there. This is where Carpet, the flicker will go out. But Matoya taking a little bit too much hits. There's a Winter Throne already used up. The Dragon will push everyone away. More Winter Thrones already used up. Amrali has bought their immortality for himself. Kishore goes straight for that Granger. Takes him out of the game. And they are able to push Iran out of the pit.
A 4v5 fight turns into a 4v4, and now Abafazo joining the fray as well. I feel like Team Iran is already running out of steam. They don't really have any form of damage dealers reliably. And if Team Nepal identifies it, they could have actually gone in and do a little bit more cycle, do a little bit more trade.
Tricky for Nepal if that wave is coming in from that top side as well. They have to deal with a 4-on-1. Abafazo right there, trying to push everyone back as well. Mountain Shocker, give it a little bit more vision. They want to blitz this down, but they need to know if Abafazo will be able to split push and maybe a potential backdoor Jace.
Yeah, Ali is actually in the vicinity, threatening onto Mitoya, and not only just that, Mahdi does have the heavy spin and the retribution up. There's also Abafazo doing a lot of problem and splitting the attention for the side of Team Nepal on the other side.
Mahdi down low. Ali will try to risk his life. They're still waiting. They know where the Akai is. There's the Valkyrie's descent directly onto this Akai. The Lord goes down low. There's a heavy spin already used up. Mortality pop. Abafazo trying to close them back. They're buying some time. They're buying some space. Amadi will not be able to take this Lord this time.
Nice dance around Team Nepal for around the Lord pit earlier just now. That was a critical play from the side of Team Iran. Team Iran is trying their best. they're trying to use the lowest budget for the best efficiency to try to take down that Lord earlier just now. But Team Nepal, the sheer manpower dominates that amount of pressure that Team Iran's really trying to put out. If you notice, I would say Team Iran's really doing a good job putting a lot of pressure on the side of Team Nepal, but Team Nepal is the one that has that evolved Lord.
They also have the vision. They're waiting for Madi. They knew that Madi was coming in. He has that heavy spin as well. So they found him. They bait him out with that Lord on low health. Force him to stay underneath that Lord. He came out a little bit too early. Had he wait for just a split second, might change things.
I feel like Team Nepal was playing it really safe earlier just now, right? And I guess it's better to be safe than sorry right now. Madi's taking a lot of damage coming out from the side of Team Nepal.
Oh,
the Lord
top side
a little
as well.
bit distracted.
That's the red carpet trying to push Alpha Fazio back. He's slowing everything down. The Lord already take down T3 on the mid side. Nepal will not be able to push this any further as Iran built up a strong defense for themselves. That's a constant poke, a constant push. Ankit leading the charge. Heavy spin will push them back as Valkyrie's descent. The laser pops up. Dragon coming in. Poryas next on the target. Next on the chopping block. The heavy spin goes down underneath the throne. They're targeting onto the core, but the minions are not marching in. Falls, one hit falls after another. Nepal will be able to do it this time around.
Team Iran, no.
But they cling on to the precipice. Amirali takes down one after another. They deny Nepal's ascent.
Team Iran, perfect defense, but it's a maniac given over side Team Nepal on Amirani right here. Man, this is just crazy defense. It is so close. Even the observer was thinking, hey, this is it, right? This is it. But no, Team Iran's Poria was just doing so much AoE clears. They focus on the minions, so that Team Nepal has nowhere to penetrate because they don't really have a marksman.
But the marksman for Nepal just went in straight. It was found out by Poria. The gush was just too strong at this time. Amirali cleared things up with a maniac. We all counted him out. He's right down the mid side. Let's break this down and replay.
Sky Pierce stack, man. And not only just that, you can see Kishore is actually trying to do a lot of damage, trying to push it all the way back. But then again, they're running out of minutes because, you know, I think it's just like Team Nepal wasn't really focusing on the core instead. They're going for these kills. And that's basically their MO, right? They're super greedy on that one, especially when you start giving Amirali these stacks. Remember the Granger that has a Sky Piercer stack, and the Granger's not doing well. And you go into a Granger late game, Team Iran takes the Lord.
With that one clear, Iran turned things around. Nepal now up only 1,000 gold lead. At this point, it doesn't really matter, but it just goes to show how far Iran has done to come back into it. The pure base defense, the pure spirit, the pure soul that they have.
Yeah, and the fact that as Team Nepal, I think they forgot to count the minions earlier just now, right? Like, they kind of overcommitted into that one. They're not focusing on to taking down the core. They're thinking, hey, I just need to burst down the enemy, and then after that, rotate to the objectives. I think they need to try to do a little bit of multitasking, right? You need somebody to be able to hold down the enemy, and while the other one, let's say, for example, the marksman, a dedicated base hitter to be able to end that game. And now with Team Nepal doing the base defense this time around, as Team Iran is bringing a siege unit. Amirali and Poria, these are long-range artillery strikes. Team Nepal has to be careful.
They're coming in from all three sides. Alpha Fazio taking care of the bottom side. They're charging in. That's the push and the heavy spin, pushing Ankit out of position. This is back Dragon form, making its way onto Amirali. There's no one on that defense, though. Will he be able to take him out? Abhishek splitting the team fights. He's trying to ice set on Poria. They're seeing red. Nepal, they're not giving up without a fight. But no, Iran stops them from that satisfaction. Abhishek all alone for themselves now. Matoya left all alone, tries to clear up that Lord. He will. The Lily does not have that one. This is a maniac. Might be able to go for that savage as Amirali seals up this deal, takes this game, pushes it through.
A maniac and a savage side-by-side, churros, as Team Iran turns the tides against Nepal. Well done, man. There was a time where I can feel like they can see the line a little bit safe, like an assassin, right? But I think it's just, you know, I think Team Nepal earlier just now in that previous game, especially that last push, they kind of overestimated the number of minions they have actually at that vicinity of the base. Had to have that, I would say that, hey, this game should be Nepal's, but Team Iran, you know, they held down, they focus on the defense, they work on the fundamentals, they give Amirali the Sky Piercer side. Don't forget, it was Amirali down in the count. He's not relevant in the game at all, but this is the thing that we always say, like, give Granger that Sky Piercer, you never know what will happen to him. Army Rally happened. A Maniac, after that, a Savage. The Sky Piercer said, pam, 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 everybody dies. And then after that, Team Iran wins the game.
Yeah, for a lot of the marksmen, there's two different kinds that we look at. A lot of the other teams, they pretty much like the attack speed marksman.
Piercer stack feels like a necromancer, right? Using your deaths against yourself, technically reviving your dead bodies, using that as items, and really just those executes coming out of Sky Piercer's stack is the one that really threw everybody off from the side of Team Nepal.
You know, that's just putting the Death Sonata's name to get to its signature.
Yep.
But hey, Nepal didn't have a really bad game.
Nope.
I think that they really played to their strengths. Double fighter composition really works well in the early to mid stage of the game. They just can't close it out.
Yeah, and this is something that we also see from past Nepal games as well, right? It seems like they always have a very strong understanding of the game in the early parts of the game, but when it comes to late, you know, it's like when you start an essay, right? You start with a very wonderful structure, and then after that, halfway through the essay, you're like, maybe it's time for me. I don't know how to end, right? They couldn't end the story that they were telling, and they start spouting something that, you know, introduces plot, that breaks the plot, and then after that, everything goes whack, and that's exactly what happened, right? I think Team Nepal is strong in the early game. I feel like they just need to tidy up that late game in order to be able to close out the game.
Well, Iran didn't give them that satisfaction in the middle of the game, especially when, you know, they did make mistakes as well. Iran had I would say a little bit luck, but it's a little bit skill as well. It was quite lucky. They made the mistakes down the Lord Pit, putting Mahdi in a position where he had to push himself to try to steal that Lord again. And Iran had so much successes in stealing the objectives. Nepal definitely has to look out for that.
I think what Nepal can do in the next part of the game, especially going to game number 2, right? Since you're really strong in the mid-early game, I think you pick heroes that enables that. Like, to a certain extent they did, right? Double fighter composition is really strong, especially in the early to mid game. You pop off at level 4, and then you just force a massive snowball there, because there are a few times that you know, Team Nepal was really able to do so, right? But after a while, I feel like there's a bit of a hesitation coming up from them as well. I think they got a little bit too scared about the Akai as we go into Flying Clouds. This is where, you know, it favors the defenders. So I think this is the map. If you are Team Nepal, you're afraid of it because you want to try to end off the game. But the last thing you need is when you have a dominating push, somebody start dropping you from the top, literally parachuting right at the second tier turret, and you're just gonna face a lot of trouble.
Actually, I really echo what you say, especially for, you know, side of the fighter, double fighter side lanes. You want to be able to draw your opponents into the jungles instead of fighting in their base. You're so high committal, you're throwing your bodies, you're landing the dragons, you're putting the Valkyries to send, and putting yourself in a pretty open spot where the turret hits you, your opponents are trying to gun you down, and they have a little bit more extra defense. Yep. And you want to be able to draw that fight down. So the way that Nepal needs to try to adjust to this situation is maybe they could draw them out. This is going to be the second game's draft. Iran will be in the first pick, first ban.
I feel like Nepal, if they really can, if you really want to get this game, like what I mentioned earlier just now, play early, play too early to mid. Draw Iran out. I agree with you. And also, you know, abuse the mistakes, because you can see sometimes Mahdi, even though as an Akai, he overextends himself a little bit too far. Ali is also punishable as well. Abuse that, especially in the earlier just now, you saw the Cho is so punishable because he overextends. But now, it seems like Team Iran taking away the Kai, Jusin, and also the Eve. Team Nepal, on the other hand, the Freya, the Baxia, and also the Marcel. I think this is like what?
Too. The Fredrin's open.
Fredrin's
open.
Paquito is open. But I feel like Paquito right now, no offense, I feel like if you notice, even if Vinoya decides to go for the Arlot first pick instead of Paquito pick, maybe he knows what's up. The Paquito kind of got nerfed just a little bit in the previous patch.
Oh, Phobius slipped through the brands, and it's gonna be picked up first pick.
Yep, good one. I think it's a good B1 pick. The Phobius counters almost a lot of things, especially in this particular patch, especially the dashes. To a certain extent, the Paquito dashes, right? And to a certain extent, the Fredrin also dash. These are dashes that refresh the cooldowns for the side of this Phobius. So good opener. We haven't seen the Phobius in so long because it was slipped. It was mostly permaban, but now it's back on track.
what's the play here for the FOVS? Do you go for a little bit of a, okay, they answered my question. I was thinking either the carry or the Claude, but the carry would be the answer. And right now, Nepal really needs a strong front line. The Valentina will be the answer again in case they pick up something with a really high CC. It's kind of like sussing out that Iran wants to pick up the Atlas once again.
I feel like Nepal kind of was a little bit too hasty to pick up the Valentina for the side of Lilim in this R1 pick. I feel like there's better picks here for the side of Team Nepal, right? Even to a certain extent, you can go back to the Leo mod. You can go back into maybe your pick up a roam, or instead of better other mids apart from Valentina. Because if you go for the Valentina now, you know Team Iran knows what's up. They can draft. Since the EXP laner is already a Phobius, this ultimate that the Valentina doesn't want to take. Claude as well, this is not an ultimate that you want to take. Yeah,
Blue
there you go.
Doesn't have any ultimates that you want to take.
Exactly. So Team Nepal, I feel like R1 pick is a little bit sus coming up from them. So that's why Team Iran, smart play right here, right? Go for Glue, go for the Phobius, go for the Claude. And the best part is, because there's no Paquito, Glue is allowed to just literally run rampant all across the board.
Ooh, this is,
and no Vexana, don't forget.
This is pretty tough for a Valentina first pick for Nepal as well. There's not too much useful ultimates. If you take the Demonic Force, you're just putting yourself in that highly committed spot, and then everyone will just shoot you down, especially that Claude. You don't want to be putting yourself in that position as well. But the Fredrin is still open though. I would have thought like, hey, Nepal would have picked up that Fredrin instead.
Yeah, R1 Fredrin, right? Or even if Team Nepal wants to go for the Alice, the R1 Alice is so much better. Not only just the fact that you protect.
Hanzo ban.
Yeah, you protect everybody else, but you also counters or denies the glue pick, because those mini glues are also potential targets for Alice to also absorb those HP.
Yeah, all these Bloodfest kind of heroes really likes these kinds of small little gloops. It could be potentially, hold on to the mid lane pick and then maybe go in with a Theramis or even a Vexana that might be that might work a little bit better. At least you have more access to that glue since you're in the mid lane. But I guess Valentina is a pretty strong mid lane hero. You're able to push that mid lane and get that dominance, get that control ASAP, which is what plays to Nepal's strength. They like that aggression, they like that early game push, they like that early game rotations. The Guinevere also slipped through the cracks. They would have been able to pick that up as well. Soft counters that OBS quite a bit.
I feel like Team Nepal might go for a Suyo here. Find the assassination onto the Claude, that's it. And since you already got a very tanky EXP laner, usually you see a tanky EXP laner,
the Harley.
You go for an assassin jungler. There you go. Harley comes into play for the side of Team Nepal. Those deadly magic will definitely land down the damage onto Claude. But now, Team Iran, also, I think if they already go for the Phobius, this is a tank EXP. You got a super tank on the glue in the form of the roam. You need something hard-hitting in the mid. You also need maybe perhaps something hard-hitting in the jungler as well. Okay, this is going to be a Valer. Anti-dive works well against Alice and also to a certain extent Valentina. I'll take that any day. But now, I'm looking at maybe also Suyo or Lancelot from the side of Team Iran. But knowing Mahdi, don't think that would be the case.
They could just go in with the Fredrin for themselves, yeah. It makes a lot of sense, but the carry is just tank killer.
Correct.
So you're very vulnerable to that one. The Leomar would be the answer. I like that quite a bit. It's like we just took one step back into the previous patch, and then we see the Leomar versus Harleys once again.
I feel like the Leomar is not going to get really empowered here for the B5 pick.
Not for the early game, but the late game, I would say this Leomar causes a lot of damage.
Yeah, but I feel like, Leomar is tanky, right? It carry shreds through tanks. I was thinking even a Suyo for the side of Team Iran, it would be so much better, but I then remembered, Mahdi hasn't really shown that he's played a lot of assassins. Harley is a very easy assassin to execute, and, Mitoya, we've seen Harley's really getting so much early game pressure earlier this time. We talk about this in between game number 1, game number 2, right? They need early game. Alice technically pop off at level 4. Harley pops up very early on. Valentina, if you play, you can scale fast. Gato Kacha is the roaming pick coming out from Team Nepal.
That's pretty much the same thing as a Fredrin, but in a roam position. You're not putting yourself in a very vulnerable position. But for Nepal, again, they're putting themselves in this spot where you have to send your assassin to start off with the objectives. And once you get caught out or you're visible by your opponents, it's immediately dived upon. There is not a lot of get closers in the side of Iran. It's just typically they want to play the typical front to back. Glue, on the other hand, has a little bit of pros and cons to that one. Achilles heel is once you use that ultimate, you're going to be latched on to someone else and then taken far away. That's the AOG that we're talking about.
I think the AOG is there to kind of complement onto what the TOR wants to do. Apparently, if I remember correctly, Marcel was banned, so I was thinking Marcel was a better pick for the side of R5. But Gava Kancha in this current work, I think is just there to basically absorb everything coming off in the claw. Heck, even the Balearic will fit better in the roster for the side of Team Iran, right? You go in with the TOR, with the Balearic, you basically double massive stun right there. The Balearic counters against what the Claw wants to do as well, because of the taunt as well. Yeah, so I feel like Balearic would be better because it's anti-dive. Seems like Team Iran, this is a dive composition. You've got Amadi on the Leomod, you got Phobius on the you got Abu Fazl on the Phobius. Technically speaking, even Amirali has to dive as well.
Well, stakes are high. Iran one game away from solidifying their spot in the main stage in Nagoya, Japan. Nepal has to fight their way back. Poria tries to tease a little bit. Matoya will take away that purple buff at the very least.
Yeah, I want Lilim to really start doing this, right? Be super aggressive on the Valentina. A good Valentina is when the Valentina is at least one level ahead of the enemy mid laner. That's when you can see, you know, the Valentina truly utilize the passive.
Nepal aggression into the jungle, a little bit more vision. And Nepal doesn't want to risk it too early on. I feel like they should just wait for Matoya to get a little bit of hits and then test that damage with the ultimate as well.
Get the deadly magic up and running, right?
Yeah.
Level 4, and then after that you start ganking. I hope Amirale. Don't try to gank Abu Fazl because it's a little bit awkward. You don't try to kill a Phobius. Albeit Phobius in the early game is super weak, but with Kishore as your own EXP laner, you don't have that killing potential. You don't have that killing pressure against a Phobius.
Valentina is also pretty awkward to me in this entire draft for Nepal.
Yeah.
Getting first pick, I think it's not really their fault. They had a plan on what they wanted to do, but at the end of the day, like it doesn't serve a lot of utility besides like the early game lane dominance.
I think that's the whole point, right? In this particular scenario, this Lilim is not more like, needs to act more like a burst mage instead of utility mage as well. Don't forget, yeah, Lilim, the best ultimate to steal away is the Barbiel, and the Barbiel, what, you knock out people along the way, and then after that you ride the horse and run away, basically, because you don't really have the damage.
Yep, that's the
state
for the IMU. There's Abhishek on the corner, down low. There's Amadi getting taken out first. Nepal will steal one kill for themselves. Abu Fazl not giving up without a fight. Down. Oh, he will be able to sustain though. Ankit stays for so long. Enough time for Nepal to take up and snatch up this turtle. But they are still seeing red. They're still going for more.
Yeah, Ankit on the other hand, when Mitoya were almost able to take down Poria earlier just now, Juros. But hey, this is where, you know, this is what we call early game scaling, right? Technically speaking, Mitoya just need deadly magic, burst down Mahdi, rinse and repeat. And now because the fact is Mitoya takes down the turtle, Mahdi, even though, yeah, losing his life right there and losing out to turtle, still able to match out in the EXP. So that's, I would say, credits over the side of Mahdi. But Team Nepal needs to widen that gold league gap even more, because that's where they're right now in this particular space. They are truly strong, but you can see how it's very annoying, especially to fight a Phobius in the choke point. Abu Fazl was able to knock out at least 2 to 3 members from the side of Team Nepal earlier just now, and Lilim, you know, is also in an awkward position, right? Even though if you take Mahdi's ultimate, you are still very squishy.
It's definitely difficult to deal with both the glue as well as the Phobius, since they're all very latchy heroes. They're always on top of you, and you can't really shake them off. I think that for Nepal, this problem is going to be a later problem in the late stages of the game. But for Iran, though, they're definitely going to suffer a little bit in the early game, since Amirali takes time to scale. We also see early rotations. Abhishek is just winning that lane. He's pushing down the lanes and rotating and joining in these team fights. So this is what we want to see. The fast rotations, the aggressiveness coming in from Nepal, really showing, starting to show.
Abhishek definitely, I would say, as compared to a Claude, scales faster. But hope, Mitoya.
There's deadly magic onto Abu Fazl. Might not be enough to take him down, but that is the backup squad. Mahdi goes in. Matoya finally takes down Abu Fazl, but Kishore's in a spot of bother right there. Will be able to get full back. The TOR will land, but all for naught as he loses his life as well. An EXP for an EXP.
I mean, at this point of time, if you are Abafazo, you're not really feeling good because Phobius relies on items very heavily. You want to stay in the lane as long as possible so that you become that tanky Phobius that dives all the way to the back line. Kishore, on the other hand, I feel like Kishore as an Alice, we talk about him, Alice looking like a raid boss yesterday. Yeah, definitely also need the items, but the TOR provides so much value. You don't really need a lot of items for the Alice to really be effective.
Oh, there's the Barbille. Madi actually takes it from underneath Matoya's nose. The Barbille will chase everyone out. You're underneath that turret. Abhishek will go down by the hands of that Claude. Amirali is in the corner as well. Not Nepal, that was a risky play.
Well, if I have a bell right here, I will say ding ding because Amirali take 1 kill, whereas Abhishek loses his. And that's a massive difference, right? Even though, yes, they're technically, that was a full-on 5v5, but going back into lane for the side Amirali and Abhishek, Amirali definitely has a bit of an advantage already. Every kill that you give over to Amirali, Amirali will be able to return it 2-fold. But Abhishek right here has to rush for that golden star, because that's a massive house fight for the carry. And now if you notice, Ankit knows what's up. He's forced to babysit Abhishek right here.
It is also difficult in the mid to late stage of the game when Claude really starts to show some damage, where Nepal doesn't have any reliable lockdown, reliable stuns to keep him at bay. And this will be a very, very huge problem in the later stage of the game. So Abhishek really needs to level up and get his core items ASAP. I second you. The Golden Staff is going to do a lot of real damage, as well as the rotations coming in during these major objectives.
And I think the only way to lock down Amirali is just delete him, right? Like literally, Mitoya's whole job right now, I would say, is to land the Deadly Magic onto Amirali, burst him down, and then after that, I want to see Team Nepal play around Amirali a lot more. Just make that EXP a neutral lane for the side of both Team Iran and Team Nepal as well. And then after that, you know, play around the goat side. And the best part is, this time round, the turtle is spawning on the goat side. Instead, potential 5v5 brawl will happen once again.
So Iran is quite a divey kind of composition. So during all these major objective fights, they don't really have a lot of, Nepal doesn't really have a lot of defense.
Madi.
Speaking of defense though, Kishore able to get out. Madi already committed that Barbille. So he's riding on that horse up in time for this first, the last turn of the game. Victoria all on the other side of that map, but they're changing up their adjustments, they're changing up their rotations.
You know what a wonderful skin that Blue has got himself as well, Patrick. Also, you know, one of the... Oh, Ankit.
Oh, with the AOG, a little bit too high committal. Ali will lock him down. That is the flicker committed as well.
Kishore, do something.
Ankit just slowly hitting him on the backside. Horia will seal that kill.
Man, Kishore is stuck in at the wrong place. Ankit decides to dive all the way in an AOG. A bit, I would say, slight miscom coming off the side of Team Nepal. I'm not too sure what happened right there, but Turtle giving up the side of Team Iran over there. Ankit, I think he's trying to steal the turtle using AOG.
Oh, he's still sustaining. No, Madi will not fall, but Lilim will change my words.
Yep, Lilim, that's why I need Thirsty Mage time, man. This is the time when the Valentina acts more like a actual damage dealer as compared to your, you know, your regular Valentina that you usually see when there's an enemy team that is racking full of like the Fatal Links and everything.
Well, it's still kind of early. Ankit getting pushed back as well. Because Blast has pulled back. Horia will pick up a killing spree for himself. Kishore is next in the corner, trying to delay the team fights. TOR already used up. Abafazo back in the fray, going for the flank, going for the perimeter. Nepal finds his way back out.
I think that probably is a miskit coming over Kishore, right? The flicker over there without the TOR are probably a missed time. But even if the TOR did land on the side of Team Iran, it's a little bit too safe for the side of Team Iran. I would say for Team Nepal to really die because they already lost Ankit. And yeah, that's the problem, right? I'm not really a big fan of Kacha in this particular patch, and also this particular roster as well, because I'm not too sure what he's supposed to do, right? Are you diving onto Are you trying to dive onto Amirali as an AOG? But Amirali has VMI, you know.
Yeah, it's more of a leashing hero. You want to be able to send the Kacha inside the battle first, or get some taunts up, and then buy some time for your team to get in position and then do that damage. So the leashing capabilities is there, but it doesn't really seem like it in the late in this stage of the game because of that Valier always pushing him back.
Well, like what I mentioned, we're stepping into a mid-game position right now. Not a lot of assassination. Amirali has not suffered, and that means that Mitoya hasn't been ganking up top. And now, because Team Iran has already unlocked Amirali is already starting to, you know, join these team fights and go to scale even harder. Whereas, you know, Team Nepal right here, this early game potential that they have is slowly losing out. Lilim is on the wrong ultimate. This is the problem when you R1 a Valentina, right? You don't really have... if the team is smart and drafting against a Valentina, there's no way that a Valentina will have a great ultimate, a great time. And especially in the early game, Lilim wasn't really, stepping around, poking as much as possible to get that level advantage. And yeah, now Lilim is just
making a penetration. Mari will pick up that Lord, that's AOG to block off the back line, but in the midst of Nepal's jungle though, you're getting pulled back. There's 2 members down for Nepal as Iran just takes 1 hit at a time. Mari still already doesn't have that Barbil, but they're chasing down Kishore. They don't want that Alice to get out without a kill. And they will take down 1 hit after another, again with the possession, again with the pullback. Ankit will not be able to survive this one though. Here comes Mari though. That's Barbil once again, knocks him out of position and seals up that deal. Mari takes down another. Nepal suffering in the objectives.
I tell you, Team Iran has a better clash composition as compared to Team Nepal, right? Team Iran was able to really dive deep. We're using Mari. They find Abhishek. They find Lilim. Lilim and Abhishek without the help of Kishore or be it Ankit is a sitting duck. And what Ankit wants to do, AOG the back line. When you AOG your enemy back line, you're not peeling for your own team.
Yeah, it's way too far ahead. Ankit is playing 3 steps, 5 steps ahead of the rest of Nepal, and he doesn't have any backline protection. This causes a lot of disruptions into Abhishek's space, and Iran is just going to capitalize on that. Madi is so mobile. He's able to go straight into the team fights for into the backline of Nepal, and also get back to protect Amirali.
Yeah.
And like we mentioned yesterday, this Claude is not really a backline; it's a pseudo front line.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, fine. I will agree with you for this one. But Team Nepal, on the other hand, I feel like they need to change up the strategy just a little bit more. They shouldn't find these massive clashes. I feel like pick-off potential is the one they have to do. Play 4-1. If you take a look at how this is happening, right? You see how Ankit just forfeits the backline. Ali and also Madi is all the way in the backline. What can Ankit and Kishore do at the front, at the backline? I mean, Raleigh is able to gobble them up because Claude shreds through HP like Kishore, shreds through HP like Ankit. They don't really pack a lot of heat, and that's why the whole composition from the side Team Nepal 4, Team Iran was able to, take full advantage of that. And of course, don't forget, Poria on that Searing Torrent, puts up a wall and really literally tells Nepal, do your backline really want to cross that firewall? Because you're going to take a lot of damage, you're going to take a lot of slows, and potentially more Searing Fireballs from me.
I think huge respect to Abu Fazl as well. Immediately after AOG was landed, went onto the face of that carry, denying her from getting even remotely close to that Lord Pit. So they don't really have any secondary form of damage. Lilim doesn't have any utility in the form of any useful ultimates to take. So you're playing a 2-skill Valentina. This is really tough if you're the side of Nepal.
Hey, I mean, you can work it out. Remember what I said. If the Valentina wants to play in this particular roster against Team Iran, you really need to be at least 2 to 3 levels. You need to match the enemy jungle's level in order to have any form of utility, right? You're more of a damage Valentina. You need to try to burst people down. Find Poria, burst him down. Find Amirali, burst him down. Find the flanks. I think that's the only way to play the Valentina at this particular rate. Follow Ankit perhaps, right? Let Abhishek be peeled by the side of Kishore maybe perhaps. That's how Team Nepal. I think this roster from the side of Team Nepal could potentially work. But Mitoya needs to find a good pickup.
We talked a little bit of Mitoya last game, but this game, he doesn't seem to have a lot of presence for this Harley. What's the play here for that Harley? He's getting sent onto the long lane instead of anyone else. He's trying to get into the Lord Pit to start things out. But what's that play?
Remember Ignite Kelvin? Yeah, do Ignite Kelvin. Just hide Mitoya somewhere, Lord.
Lord already taken down by Madi. Down goes Ali. That's the pushback. That is the fight back that Nepal has found for themselves. The AOG will not land and Ankit loses his life. But enough time for Nepal to fight their way and penetrate into Iran's defenses.
I'm glad this is happening, Churros, because Team Nepal has realized that, hey, as long as I peel for Abhishek and Mitoya can do a lot of damage. And now they secure, they let go of the Lord for now, but you can see the Searing Torrent coming on Poria is just so annoying for the side of Team Nepal.
Yeah. They also changed up how they want to execute their team fights and skirmishes. Right? They don't really send Kishore straight into enemy territory. They don't AOG inside the Lord Pit. They just wait for Iran to come to them, and they take the fight to them. The counter-engage potential for Nepal is extremely great with Abhishek on the helm as well.
Yeah, and finally, at the very least, Team Iran is starting to see that Abhishek can do a lot of damage already. And of course, you know, the key target right here is definitely going to be a Lord, and you can see how it's so difficult for the side of Team Nepal to take down Lord because of the constant pokes coming up from Poria. Annoying Team Nepal. It takes a long time for them to take that Lord out.
Great pull, great bait away from the turret, denying the crash. Taking a look at the replay, what went down?
Yeah, Amir Ali is actually holding on to the Blazing Duet for so long because yeah, he finally activated right here, right there. But Mitoya, you know, is a constant threat over to the side of Team Iran. That's the reason why Amir Ali was holding on to the Blazing Duet. I think a little bit too long for my liking because Mahdi and Ali was just diving all the way in. This time around, you also got Kishore threatening with the TOR. Means that, you know, Amir Ali really don't dare to go in.
So it's a traditional death ball kind of strategy, a traditional front to back. Ankit started things off with a taunt to pull them away from Abhishek, creating so much space. And with the Malefic gun, you have a little bit more range to deal with as well.
Yeah, slightly more range, but always a little bit more range is better, especially for marksmen, right? It is like the best booster for every single marksman to get a little bit more range. But now, if you start to see how Team Nepal is playing it, instead of going for a pick-off strategy, if they really want to clash, they should play in a way that is to basically counter-engage, right? Mahdi, unfortunately, has to dive, and Abu Fazl is basically a dive hero. Ali is also a dive hero as well. And, you know, using the TOR to scare off Amir Ali to basically not letting the Blazing Duet in the back line, that's the whole point. So, nice evolution and nice adaptation coming up from Nepal, but we need to see more.
I have to agree. And this time around, that's a taunt though.
There's a
onto the glue, immediately melted.
Just like the doctors ordered, right? Team Nepal play pick-off and also play peeling for Abhishek, and that's how they win games.
There's a fat wave crashing down the bottom though. It's slow push, but Nepal might need to find themselves getting that recall. Mahdi will be able to survive just for a little bit for the rest of the Goon Squad to come online. Iran will be able to capitalize on this moment. They threw all their resources. The TOR already landed, but onto no one. Kishore still barely surviving, still barely standing. They still have that flicker to burn. Will not keep him out of that game for now. The Lord will respawn up as well. Iran winking beeline for that one.
That TOR was pretty sus, mind you, and also that's going to be a flicker. That's massive resources gone, especially for the next Lord fight as well. So Team Iran, knowing that is vital information, they'll go ahead and blitz for the Lord. Don't forget Kishore, I think they need, what, another 90 seconds? You don't have that amount of time. And now it's Team Nepal have to enter this team fight with a slight disadvantage.
They're all in position already. It does look like Mahdi doesn't want to show himself. Nepal still needs to source from a little bit more information, a little bit more vision.
Yep. And hey, Team Iran slowing it down, and that's not exactly ideal, I would say. Team Ali and Mahdi actually finding onto Mitoya. He's on the wrong side of the map, but this vital information given on side Team Nepal. It's going to be a 4v3 right here, but both these two teams, Ankit is not opening up the map. I think they know they're paying too much respect over the side of Team Iran for now. The goal lead is only 4K. I think it's still winnable, especially for the side of Team Nepal.
Oh, that's a smart positioning from
And now Kishore has the ult.
They're still holding on. They don't want to show themselves though. Iran on the back line. Mahdi tries to push everyone back. Lord down low. Lord at an 8. Might be able to take it out. Mahdi secures that Lord. This TOR straight onto the back line. Abhishek is all exposed. Amir Ali will take down Ankit. Abhishek will take down Fazl. There's a huge burst damage coming in from that carry. Will take everyone down. It stands in his way.
Nice BMI coming off the side of Team Amir Ali. Abhishek make it caught by the side of Team Ali. And this is when, you know, Team Nepal, you know, they're in a good position. They're 4v3. They noted Ali and also Mahdi's on the other side of the map. Mitoya was sent to deal with it, but Mitoya came and joined the fight a little bit too late. Unfortunate for the side Team Nepal. They lost way too many members right there.
They went down way too fast. Abhishek is just, at this stage, it's essentially a furnace. You come even remotely close, you get burnt down, you get melted instantly. Taking a replay.
Yeah, it's just the fact that, you know, this, even though there's a massive choke point and, you know, you also got Abu Fazl going down for the count, Abhishek is already scaling, but Mitoya joining the fight a little bit too late right there. Don't forget the nerve on the Hardy is that he's unable to really move quickly anymore, right? Just a slight nerve on the movement speed. And not only just that, you also got Poria on that Valer that could just literally build a wall and then start pushing. Perma slow you to death. Mitoya cannot hold the damage coming up from the side of this Valer and then has to back off.
We're already pushing up on that bottom side. We'll be able to crash this T3 down. On the top side though, it's 1v1. Mitoya won't be able to land all the cards though. He will be able to take that off the screen as Lord makes his way, touch foot inside that throne. Iran will back off for now. They know that they can't risk it.
Yep, definitely, right? So 4v4 right there for both these two teams. Awkward position coming up from Marty, but good call for the side of Mitoya to basically risk it. Trust the fact that, you know, you got 4 members versus 4 members. Last I checked, should have been equal, even Stevens kind of matchup. So what does Mitoya do? Go match up with Adi, deny that push on the up top, and don't forget, this is a late game Hardy. Technically speaking, the Deadly Magic can amplify a lot of damage. Leoma, on the other hand, item build-wise, does have the Demon Wings. Not exactly very tanky as of yet. Relies on the War Axe to basically become that pseudo-sustain, and that at that point in time, there's not a lot of minions around for him to basically cleave to heal all the way back up.
Would you want to rebuild your equipment to at least get the Radiant Armor to deny yourself from the Harley?
Yeah, I think drop the Malefic Roar. Your whole point as a Leomord at this juncture is not to basically do damage and burst. Your whole goal right there is to really face tank and also act as a pseudo utility hybrid fighter as compared to Team Nepal. Give the damage over the side of Poria, give the damage over the side of Rally. You're there. It's either to face tank or to just do cleanup.
I do have to agree with you, 100%. But at this stage, though, both of these teams, they excel in 5v5s. They need to send one person to the side lanes. Nepal, clearly, they're sending Mitoya. Iran, they do have options in Amirali as well as Mahdi. Do you want to risk sending Amirali to clear the lanes fast and try to get that split push, try to get that lane advantage?
Ali and Mahdi's positioning is gets scouted out. Nepal knows a 4v3 right now around that Lord Pit. Amirali is actually working on the Lord, trying to leash it over. I think Mitoya, if they really want to send, I think the best choice definitely is steal the Harley all the way to the side lanes, but Mitoya needs to be reactive. He needs to be able to rotate faster as compared to earlier just now.
Nepal was extremely smart in how they want to play the lanes. Mitoya, nowhere to be seen, nowhere to be found. Poria sussing a little bit more for information on across all the bushes, trying their best to delay time.
Ankit needs to open up more outside the map. Mitoya has no information, and information is king, especially if you're an assassin. You need to know the squishy's location. They spotted Amiral, they spotted Poria, but Poria I don't think is the main target coming outside. Mitoya.
Look at Mitoya though. They know where he is though.
Alright, good flank. At least it kind of buys time just a little bit more, Jeros.
There's a fat wave up on that top side, slow pushing up towards Nepal's base.
Someone needs to be sent all the way down bot, because if not, Nepal may lose a few turrets.
That's the Barbeal, that's the Deadly Magic on top of Poria. Will not be enough to take him down. Alpha taking a lot of damage in the midst of all that. On the 3, here comes Mitoya. The minions are on the base. They're pushing it down. Iran just needs to buy some time.
Nepal has to try to back out because the wind is all the way to the back of the base.
There's two members down for Nepal.
Minions a bit trouble right here. Abhishek limping all the way, but when he coming a bit in time though.
Oh, Abhishek, it's all over. No, Abhishek is right there.
Just in time.
He
oh my god.
denies that minion push. Again, they're on the precipice. They're on the brink.
Oh my god, that was so close to comfort for the side of Team Nepal. They were just overestimating the amount of time they kind of need to be able to deal with Iran. They tunnel vision once again against Team Iran, and then after that, you know, there's a fast second wave all the way down bot, and they have to send somebody all the way back.
They're pushing, they're cycling, it's 1v3. It's 1v3, Abhishek, it's Abhishek against Iran.
That's it.
He will fall.
That's it, GG, well played for the side of Team Iran. They will be going to Nagoya, Churros.
What a play. This is an extremely interesting matchup, especially from different groups in the different regions.
Yeah, and don't forget, Team Nepal was, you know, they worked so hard in their particular group. Team Iran as well, they faced up against, you know, Saudi Arabia in their particular group. GG, well played. They had to drop down to the low chance qualifier, last chance qualifier, and from there, they re-qualify into Nagoya. Congratulations over the side of Team Iran. That was, I would say, steady hands. Only just the fact that I need to fix my wave. I need to go back and deal with the Lord. I need to find a flank. And by the time I find a flank, it's a little bit too late. Yep. So it's just about how, you know, Team Iran has built a solid roster of Leomord, right? Especially with the Leomord was able to just hunker down and also make sure that, you know, was able to secure the objectives on its own. And then after that, just rotate. GG, well played. You mentioned Poria. Dominating game heal, because don't forget, you definitely want to build a glowing one on the Valere to basically strengthen an anti-heal. You also deal very well. You do also very well against Gatot Kaca as well.
And the Atlas, Kishore and Ankit, they're always too far away from the back line of Nepal. Lilim tries his best to stay in the mid lines, but it's a little bit too fragile. It's like a glass cannon. And once you hit that mid-game or late-game mark, once clock comes really online, this Valentina, without any useful utility from ultimates taken from their opponents, it just becomes like, hey, I'm going to try to wait for my first two skills. I'm going to try to fear you a little bit, and I'm going to get the heck out of there. It's so difficult to execute a Valentina if it doesn't have any other forms of utility.
Yeah, and if you take a look at the whole roster, I think Iran in this particular case outdrafted not only just outdrafted, right? They also executed a lot better as compared to Team Nepal, right? Team Nepal is the one is kind of forced to adapt along the way because it's just so many things that they have to do. But if you notice Team Iran, the whole game plan is send Ali to disrupt backline, peel for the enemy, send Mahdi to basically on this Leomord down memory lane or something on the barbell, and then after that just secure the turrets, secure these objectives. You also got a Claude that basically could already do a lot of damage. Poria just build a wall for us, and then after that just burn anybody who comes in alive. We avoid TOR and we win games, basically.
I think you summed up what the entire meta is all about. What we're going to be seeing a lot more in the other games that we're seeing today is the anti-dive compositions, and it's what wins games this time around. A lot of teams are trying to draft like zonal control, playing around a death box, but the main strategy that kind of is difficult to break through is one that is, hey, I want to dive onto you. Let's take advantage of that. Let's counter and engage. Let's counter attack. The re-engage potential for some of the drafts are pretty OP, to say the least.
I feel like just now it's more on Team Iran drafting a dive composition and also a clash composition. They really want to go in and clash. That's where their strength is. But Team Nepal on the other side is like, I also need to try to anti-dive them at the same time, but also at the same time, I need to do a lot of damage. So there's a lot of things that Team Nepal wants to do, but with limited time, limited resources. We talked about the Valentina, we talked about the Hardy earlier just now. So there's a lot of things that, well, Team Nepal wasn't able to do. Team Iran out-executing them, therefore deserving that space, that slot to Nagoya.
Yeah, well, for Nepal, their journey ends here, but Iran, congratulations, they're moving on to Nagoya in the main stage.
That said, don't go away, ladies and gents. Coming up next, Kazakhstan's going up against Kyrgyzstan. Don't go away. We'll be right back.